play that funky music, Larry's Losers Orchestra. I mean, seriously, play it. Play it like you mean it. Play it. Play it. Play it. They do it every week. They just play it. Play it. They jam it funkily and funky and all the things with the lingo of coolness because they are Larry's Losers Orchestra. Give them some love. Yes, give them some love. Give them some love. Yes. Yes, thank you. They work day and night to bring you the tunes. Day and night. Oh my, thank you for being here for our, you can hear Wrigley's squeaky toy. Yeah, he's excited too. Thank you for being here for our 11th installment of Loser Talk with Laird, losing a lot more than just weight. I'm so excited that you're here with me. So is Wrigley. If you haven't heard by now, I have a new website, theevolutionoflarry.com. I just can't believe it. It's in its early stages, so be patient. I'm adding a little bit here and there, so it's still being built, but I'm so proud of it. It has a lot of mom in there, my family, my fur children, as you can hear in the background. You get glimpses of me during different stages of my journey. It's so beautiful. Last week, you heard the special Mother's Day edition, and you heard the significance of hummingbirds in my life. So you will see hummingbirds all over the website. Mom loved purple, and she looks so beautiful in it. So that's the base color of everything. Just to explain some of the design concept to you, go to the evolutionoflarry.com. This will be a hub of all things happy. All things happy, all things health and wellness, all things loving ourselves. There's no more fear of us or the food or the scale, etc. It's a home base for our loser family to gather and to grow, to lean on each other and lift each other up through our journeys. It's a beautiful place to have a home base. We have our own loser masterclass Zooms. We offer one-on-ones with me where we can meet and focus on your personal strengths and roadblocks. We have merchandise. Have you seen it? Merchandise. I designed a t-shirt. There's a water bottle so far. Just fun stuff. I've just been having fun with it. We're also going to have a landing page for recipes, motivational playlists, a monthly link letter that will start in June. That's going to keep us all informed on the latest happenings. And we're even going to have a loser lounge that it's going to highlight a transformation every month, a loser lounge, lots of exciting things coming. So make sure you are a part of this. Get on there and leave your email also. Yeah, get on there and leave your email. That's what I want you to do is leave your email so you can be a part of this. Also, all of my social media stays the same. So follow me on Larry's Losers 22 on Instagram, The Evolution of Larry on Facebook. Also ask to join our private Larry's Losers VIP on Facebook, where we have exclusive content with our loser family gathering and communicating. So much to do to keep us engaged and excited about our health and wellness journeys. If you're liking the work of this podcast, I have left my Venmo link on here. The Evolution of Larry and Facebook have other ways to leave donations also. I'm so grateful you're here with me. Are you good at moving on? You know the part of the God grant me the serenity to accept the things you cannot change part? Are you good at that part? Accepting and moving on? What about boundaries? How are you with boundaries in your life? Do you have trouble setting boundaries at your own detriment? We tend to suck at all of this because we don't value ourselves. So just using myself as an example, I tend to dwell on things. So I have trouble moving on. I let things get to me. I take things personally. Well, I used to, but we're going to get to that. I let it bother me to the point that it causes depression, anxiety, stress, all the things. I used to. When I was younger, I had no boundaries. I didn't set boundaries with people. I felt like I was being nicer by not setting boundaries and just saying, yes, of course I will. Of course I'll be there. Of course I'll do that. Of course I can. Yes, I'd love to. Of course I will. To everything. And then not following through with most of it. I didn't follow through. I wouldn't show up. I wouldn't help with anything. I hated myself, so it didn't matter what people thought of me. It didn't matter that they thought I was wishy-washy or had no integrity. I just drink. Nothing mattered. Hated myself. These are just examples of me and my unhealthy. Okay? That's my unhealthy, all right? Now think of those questions and your answers. And after I tell you the story about boundaries and letting go, we will define solutions and healthy. Okay? So here's the story. By now, most of you know my early years began on a farm, but Mom really didn't like that life. And after a few years, we migrated into town. Town was a very small town of about 1,200 people, so it was farm town. I really never fit in anywhere. On the farm, in town, anywhere in Indiana, I always felt uncomfortable, like I had to be someone else, and I'm not very good at that. Anywho, we moved into town, found this beautiful house on a hill, huge front yard for us kids, big backyard, lots of land. That was still make Dad happy. He could still do his huge garden, and trust me, he did. And Mom could be in town. I could be 2 blocks from school. The house would need to have a little remodeling, well, actually a lot of remodeling, to fit our family. The people that sold it to us, very interesting older couples. So interesting. I'll never forget them. Harold and Gracie Roberts. They had created a sanctuary outside. The sanctuary outside was a zoo. I'm not kidding. It was a zoo. They had peacocks. They had reindeer. They had lots of animals. Inside their home was a square dancing palace. Once again, I'm not kidding. Beautiful hardwood floors, blue shag carpeting on all the walls. Blue shag carpeting on all the walls, you heard me. For acoustics, it was a sight to see. Gracie, who was 4'7", had dug out the basement herself. She seriously took a shovel and made a basement herself. You should have seen the kitchen. All the kitchen was made for her, of course. She was the cook. So the sink was like 3 feet off the ground. So all this had to be redone for us, for Mom, for regular sized people. So everything had to be redone. So back to the basement. 4'7", she had dug out the basement. Mom and Dad had a grand idea of carpet squares and big dreams of bedrooms down there for the older kids. Not me, of course, because I got the only other room upstairs next to Mom and Dad. They also took the beautiful sunroom, which was devastating to me. Oh my God, I loved that room. It was at the front of the house. That overlooked the hill, all the windows. It just overlooked the hill, and it had a fireplace. It was so beautiful. But we needed another bathroom. Of course we did. There was all of us in that one house, so they turned that room into their primary bathroom. Mom made the house exactly the way she wanted it. She picked out the brick. It had a tint of blue that she loved. Dad took Mom to Arthur, Illinois, to meet with the Amish, to design her dream kitchen. They made all the cabinets custom by hand. I remember how excited she was. She was getting double ovens. She was getting anything she wanted, and she deserved it. She furnished the house entirely with Tell City Furniture. If you're from Indiana, you know what that is. It was a company here in Indiana that is out of business now, but it was a very nice furniture company. She had every room furnished with their pieces. Our family home was complete, beautiful. We lived, we loved, fought, laughed, cried. Lots and lots of all of it over the years happened in that house. So many memories in our beautiful home. Well, as you know, Mom and I took care of Dad there in that home and helped him transition there. So now he's gone. Mom and I moved away, and I had to help Mom transition at my niece's home. So now my sweet mom is gone. Speaking of boundaries, my sister is extremely sick with alcoholism and very toxic. There's no communication with her anymore. Boundaries, right? That leaves my brother, who was left living in the house. Before Mom left, she wanted to be comforted knowing her 3 kids were safe and taken care of with homes, at least. My sister has a place to live. My brother could live there if he could handle the utilities and payments of taxes, house insurance, etc. And I have a house. But she kept going back to my brother. His whole life he was non-functioning, especially now. Total meth addict, drugs, alcohol. She knew deep down he would not be able to take care of the situation, and it bothered her so much up until the end. It actually was such a big deal to her that just a day before she left, we had a notary come in to sign an amendment to the will to change it from the property being in us 3 kids' names to just mine. She knew I was strong enough to handle it, that finally all the enabling was over, and he would have to fend for himself. As hard as that was to think about, she even said she was glad she wouldn't be around to see it. So Mom left. Shock set in with me, and a couple of years went by. I hesitated to put the house in just my name and left it as it is for the time being. I texted my brother not long after my mom left and told him that if he could keep the utilities on, then there was no illegal activity up there, which was laughable. I mean, seriously, it was always illegal activity up there. It was a flop house. He could continue living there. If not, I would have to sell the house. So I ignored the situation for 2 years. I didn't care about life. I didn't care about anything. My number one person had just left me. So 2 years go by. And then the fall of 2023, something is telling me to put the house in my name. You all know that life guides me. And life was telling me, Larry, go put the house in your name. So that was October. So my niece and I make a visit. And it just so happens we go to the utility office, and September, the utilities were shut off. So the process begins. But in the meantime, I start visiting the house, and oh my God, you cannot even imagine what he has done to the house. Filth, trash, disgust, disrespect. So talk about boundaries. I tell him over and over again, I just say in a calm, clear voice, I am selling the house. You have to get out. At first he says, okay, it's your house. I'll get out. That's what he says at first. But then the excuses start coming. And then the mean brother starts coming. And then the drug addict brother starts coming. The brother that no one ever dared stand up to before. How dare I tell him no? that 16-year-old child starts coming at me. That 16-year-old that when his daddy left him, stunted him, and he never grew up from that 16-year-old child. No one has ever done that to him before, told him no. He's always gotten a free ride before, but now Larry has just shown him what a true boundary is, and he did not like it. So the court battle begins. Of course, I win the battle, and he is evicted from the house. He told me I was dead to him, and I told him I didn't care, which I don't. I really don't. We never had a relationship anyway, which is what I said. He died that day my father left us. He's never allowed himself to move on from that. Anywho, my niece and I showed up the day we were told by the judge at noon to evict him with the police. It was very sad and horrific. He had friends there helping him. He was panicked, strapping belongings to a truck. I mean, it was horrible. His girlfriend, whatever she is, loaded up a trailer that was tied to a lawn mower. She rode off into the sunset, driving right in front of us as our mouths fell open. He eventually walked off with his poor dog, who is another victim in this mess. He walked a few blocks to his property my aunt gave him that is down on the riverbank. He's now homeless, living in a camper, all the belongings strewn about. He was homeless when he lived in the house. No utilities for 6 months, living in filth and trash. The house would have fallen down around him, or it would have been taken away because of no payment of taxes. Not a care in the world. Who has to pay taxes? Who has to pay utilities? Who has to pay house? I mean, just not a care in the world. So we've had to clear all the junk out of the house, get it ready to sell. My childhood home, I have to have peace from all of this. I have to move on and restore Mom's name. He had turned that place into a drug flophouse, and I put an end to it. I hope a family ends up with it that will grow there like we did, laugh, love, and cry like we did, have big dreams like Mom and Dad did, finally restored to what it was meant to be. It will be very emotional to move on and say goodbye. But after I had to say goodbye to Mom, after that, I'm able to move on and accept the things I can't control so much easier. I see the bigger picture now, and I live in that serene place of peace. I love myself now, and that also sets me up to have hard boundaries. It sets me up very well to have hard boundaries, because after that, I can do anything and do hard things, like be able to make the decision to evict my brother. Am I proud of that? Not at all. But do I feel guilty? Not at all. I did the right thing. I did what Mom and I had discussed so many times. I did what was right for me, what was right for the house, for the community, and ultimately for my brother. He's needed tough love his whole life, and unfortunately, he's just now getting it in his 60s. I honestly think it's way too late for him, but I have my own life to live. I've moved on from my brothers and sisters' toxic problems. I've saved myself. And speaking of acceptance, I accept that there's people out there that are judging me for the decisions I've made, and I can tell you that would have bothered me extremely. That would have bothered me in my younger years. But now I sleep peacefully, knowing the people that mean something to me love me, and I finally love me. And when that happens, no one else matters. I make decisions for me. Life is different now, and it's beautiful on this side. Now that I've gone through my healthier path, with boundaries and acceptance? Does it show you a way, a path to yours? Go back and ask yourself those questions now and see if you can make a path to healthy for you. Are you good at accepting things as is and moving on? Are you good at setting boundaries? Learn to love yourself. Find your peace and serenity. We all deserve it. Don't forget to visit the website, theevolutionoflarry.com. It's a work of love in progress. Leave your email for the loser link letter coming soon. Follow Larry's Losers 22 on Instagram, The Evolution of Larry on Facebook. Ask to join Larry's Losers VIP group on Facebook. Our loser family is gathering with lots of fun ways to connect on our health and wellness journeys. We even have our own loser masterclass Zooms, and all of you are welcome to join. Everyone can join. If you're liking this podcast vibe, you can leave a gift. I provided the Venmo link on here. The website and Facebook have other ways to gift also. I am so happy you're with me. Now, before I leave you, here's some words of wisdom. Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves, even when we risk disappointing others. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time. I love you all.